Yeah, this game, it's not surprising, but it's still disappointing. That's the best way I can say it. It's not surprising, but it's disappointing. 38-10 right now, about 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Tennessee has just failed to score repeatedly and repeatedly and repeatedly failed to score. And the same thing for getting stops. Non-existent. Non-existent. They've been non-existent since we played Kentucky. Since Kamal Haddon's got hurt, they've been non-existent. That's one thing we got to mention real quick before I get into everything. This year will be known as a year filled with injuries on the offensive line and corner in the secondary. So cornerback and safeties. Those are the three positions that have been absolutely filled with injuries. Knee injuries, ankle injuries, shoulder injuries, any type of injury you can think of, they had. And that set us back a lot. Okay, now let's discuss what happened. I missed part of this game because I had to play a bit of a basketball game. But we start off the game. Jalen Wright, 75-yard touchdown off the run. That is the best what he could have. But Georgia is very much known for letting up opening drive touchdowns. They did it against Florida, Ole Miss, Vanderbilt, pretty much any matchup. I think possibly Auburn, South Carolina, a lot of teams. They gave up that. Then they just rolled. That's what happened here. That's what happened here. I checked the stats. We had like 140 yards rushing in total, which add on to that, it's not that bad at all. It's actually pretty good against this Georgia team. But I'm going to start the fourth quarter. I believe Joe Milton didn't have 100 yards. If he did, he just barely got it. That is the problem that we've had all year long. The inconsistencies of his ability to throw the ball, just open guys, and the play calling sucks. We were down by 21, and instead of going deep, we're throwing screen passes. The plays that we've proven over and over and over again not to work in big games, we go back to repeatedly. This is not Hendon Hooker and Jalen Hyatt out here. This is Joe Milton and Squirrel White out here. Different stuff. Use it to your advantage. This is not using it to your advantage. Let me talk about this defense real quick. Carson Beck cooked us. It was like 22 for 27. 3 touchdowns, over 200-something yards. There's an interception that we could have had, but it got called back because of a holding on the play. Talking about holding, mainly in the fourth quarter at least. A lot of stuff that could have been called against Georgia wasn't. That's not the reason why we're losing, though. A lot of other things go on the play. Refs will make you go down by 28 points. They just don't. Your team does. And after that first drive, we've done nothing. 3 points. 38 for Georgia. They could score. Why can't we? We have talent. We have players, but we can't get them the ball. Dylan Sampson, I think, had 2 carries and 1 catch. Why? Why isn't he getting more? Jabari Small at one point, he's clearly waving off on the field, and no one is sending someone else on. Just letting him sit out there, even though he's clearly tired or clearly hurt, whatever. And is letting him sit out there. This team, this year, this is a good time, I guess we can review this year. First of all, this pass rush went downhill. Run defense went downhill. This pass defense, I mean, you can't really blame that at one point. We have like practice squad guys or scout team guys at corner because of how thin we are. Carson Beck played a great game. It was even more tough because they just kept throwing to their tight ends. Brock Bowers and them just kept doing their stuff. Daniel was like something Bell or something like that. Number 86 on Georgia, just doing really good. It's a tough loss. It's a tough loss, but expected. If you really thought we had a chance, like a good chance, you're way too optimistic. We lost to Florida. We lost to Alabama. We lost to Missouri. And we lost to Georgia. And if you're playing like this next week, you might just mess around and lose to Vanderbilt. This team, it's kind of just a fill-in year, it looks like, for next year. And this year, I would say, I don't like using this term, based off the amount of wins we've got. But we got to say it, it's a failed season. When you lose to Florida, when you lose to Alabama, and when you lose to Georgia, that's a failed season. You got to win at least one. You got to win at least one. Like, I remember there was a year that we went like 6-6, or 7-5 with Joshua Dobbs, but we beat Florida and we beat Georgia, or something like that. Or we just beat Georgia. And yeah, we just beat Georgia. We were very close against Alabama and Florida. That year was amazing. Another time, the following year, we beat Florida and we beat Georgia. It was 2016. The same thing with Joshua Dobbs. Finished with 8 wins, won our bowl game. That was a successful season. But we have these games here that we just play crap in the biggest important moments. In the other game that was very, very important for any small chance that we had to make in the SEC championship game, we got blown out by, what was it, 29? 29, couldn't get double digits in scoring. This is pathetic. Gave up 27 to Kentucky. Gave up 36 to Missouri. Giving up 38 right now, possibly is more since I've been recording, to Georgia. Gave up 34 to Alabama. Gave up 29 to Florida. The consistency is not there. This is very tough. But some optimism for next year. The SEC is only getting tougher, but this team is hopefully only getting better. Joe Milton, before I finish off, Joe Milton, thank you for your time at Tennessee. You gave us some good moments. Enjoy your senior day. Great stuff next week. Play out of your mind that week. I don't want to see you in that bowl game. I want Nico in there. Because we're probably going to play a team that's a mid-level team that probably has about 8-9 wins. Something like that. Not a mid-level team. They're a solid team. Solid, good team. 8-9 wins. We might end up just messing around and playing Iowa. We might lose in the Big Ten title game. Something like that. And I would not be mad. Let's put Nico in, see how he does, get him familiar, get him a whole game, and yeah. That's the most things I got to say for this one. At least it was the only positive thing about this being a blowout is that you get to just go through the emotions throughout the game and just come with the realization that you're not going to win. Same thing as last week. You're just not going to win. Alabama's still the toughest loss we had this year. As a fan, that was a tough one to take. Good job, Georgia. You're going to have the record for the most wins in SEC history in a row, at least. Go beat the Yellow Jackets. And then you got Alabama. You got Alabama next week. About 2 or 3 weeks from now. It's your toughest team you got to play it. If you beat Alabama, I have no doubt you're going to win national title. No doubt. But if you do lose to Alabama, then you're not making the playoffs. That is wild. But there's a very high chance that happens. It's not high. There's about I give Georgia about a 80% chance to win the SEC. This team is just so good right now. Stop it. Try. Yeah. The only hope anyone has of beating Georgia is if Missouri had them at home. Pretty much. Take what Missouri did and go beat them, Alabama. I'm not rooting for Alabama, and I'm not rooting for Georgia. I'm rooting for a good game. But if I happen to have to pick a team to root for, oh my gosh, that's an answer that I don't. It feels like that's sacrilegious to pick either side of the root for Alabama or Georgia. I can't pick. I can't pick. I'll decide at one point, but today's not that day. Today's not that day. Hope you all have a great day. Stay safe, y'all. Go Vols, because dang it, we need it. And also, shout out to Dolly Parton and Peyton Manning for being there. But Joshua Dobbs is what we really needed. But hope you all have a great day. Stay safe, y'all. And God bless y'all.